In New York, we're looking at what opportunities we have here going into our afternoon and then into the end of this week. You're looking at the VIX on a daily chart. And what we had here this week was the defense of our old contract lows to highs. And this support level, and then we're going to look at this on a 4-hour chart first. We ran into a long setup, and we've been going sideways on it for a couple of weeks. But we stick saved those lines in the sand here as we went into the beginning of this week. So the VIX's pullback was trading. And on Tuesday morning, we had these long setups that were leading us to our longer term targets. Notice that the VIX reversed right off of its profit target inside of our resistance levels. And inversely, the indices reversed right off of a run in with our long from lows from our November 21st lows to highs. And when you've broken through the contract lows to highs, when you've traded the VIXplosion, which is the old contract lows to new contract highs, and you've hit a profit target, historically, if you're not going straight up, into an end of a week into the VIXplosion type of scenario, like what happened on February 2nd through 5th of 2018, you have at the beginning of a new downtrend. Now, there's something very important to note here as we're going into our afternoon, that we have a pro gap up and go on the indices, and the indices, with the exception of NQ, have broken all of their variations of shorts from highs, confirming our upside profit targets. But what's interesting about the day is that the VIX has run into its January contract lows to highs again. Take a look at this. So as we're coming out of the daily doldrums at 115, this is an 1898. If we were rounding down, it would be a 95. And what is that low down there? It's a 1903. So it is interesting as we're going into our afternoon, we've actually run into VIX support before we've run back up into a new 50% short from highs to lows. Now, as we're going into a Friday afternoon, many times you don't have the highest levels of participation like you have on, say, a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday when everyone's around, especially after the European session close. But we've had such a dramatic rally, again, coming out of these support levels, that the question that we're asking as we're moving forward into our afternoon is, yes, at some point, we're going to get the very first pullbacks after trend breaks. And when we're thinking about the indices, nothing would suggest that there's anything getting in the way of the indices continuing to rally into our larger profit targets above, except for that VIX run-in with its support level first. And it's important to note that there's not necessarily a quote-unquote resistance level, right? I mean, we don't have 50% retracement shorts from highs to lows in the Globex timeframe. But I want to test something here. In taking our trading hours highs to lows, did we break out of all of the variations of resistance levels from our highs inside of this range to lows? No, we have not. We actually have not. Not that it would matter, because the ES doesn't lead anything. The VIX leads, the dollar leads. The dollar is an influence, the financials are an influence. But if we get into the end of the daily doldrums here, and you'll notice here that every single candle on an hourly basis has closed green. Most of all of the 15-minute time frames bars have closed green here, with the exception of like 4 candles as we're going into our morning. This stream continues at eminiaddict.com. The link is in the description. Join me there for tools and resources for learning measured move trading. I wrote the book on the measured move. Check out the hundreds of others that have learned trading plan development, pattern recognition, money management, and trading discipline with me to become the best, most confident trader that you can be.